y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little bit different. I have been asked to do a video on the fish room and also kind of how I house the fry. So today that's what we're going to be talking about. This is completely a last minute video, so bear with me, but I get a lot of questions on my Instagram about how I house the fry because I don't have a lot of tanks. So I actually have 7 aquariums in the house and 2 of those are beta tanks. So technically I have 5 goldfish tanks and only one of those actually has fry in it. So in order to keep all the fry and to raise them all properly, I keep them a little bit different than some fish keepers have a lot of an actual fish room with racks and endless amount of tanks, and I don't have that. The room itself is not very big. If you're new to my channel, you probably haven't even seen the fish room. I haven't shown it for quite a long time because I've just been kind of moving things around, so I haven't really shown what it looks like now. So for all y'all that wanted to see the fish room, this is kind of half and half. Half of the video will be how I house the fry and half the video will be just what the fish room looks like. It's not that big. It is a 3rd bedroom. So this room used to be the junk room of the house when we moved here. We had a lot of stuff that we hadn't unpacked yet, and it all kind of got shoved in this room. And then about a year later, I got aggravated and I wanted to do something with it. So I went through all the stuff, put everything else away, or sold what we didn't want to use. And this became an office / game room for a little while. And then when I started keeping fish, it kind of became the fish room because I have a lot of fish supplies and it all has to go somewhere. So as far as there being actual fish in this room, there's not a lot. Most of my fish are throughout the house. I have a tank in my bedroom, the 120-gallon tank in my living room, and 2 tanks in my kitchen. So the majority of my goldfish collection is in the rest of the house, but this is the room that I usually have fry in. So let's just take a look at the fish room. So when you first walk into the fish room, this is kind of the first thing that you see. There's not a lot of tanks in here, but the majority of this room basically just stores my fish supplies, like I said. So the first tank in here is one of my 60 gallons, which right now it has Knight's fry in it, which they will be sold this coming Monday. So that's really exciting. So there's kind of a look at them. This tank is used for the oldest fry. That's how I've been doing it. So when they are sold, Sakara and Dodge's first batch of fry will be moved in here. And that kind of helps me get rid of a tote too. Plus I like to be able to view them from the side and see their growth and keep track of them and all that. And then over here, which you can't see really from the glare, sorry y'all, is the Ron shoe tank. So this is actually the only tank that is in here that has my pet goldfish in it. And then these are the 2 tanks, or rather tubs, that have the fry in them right now. And then that tank up there is one of my beta fish. So the only pet fish I have in here is the beta fish and then the ranchu. So to give you guys, I'll show you guys a more in-depth look at these in just a second. But for those of you that want to see the fish room, that's been there for quite a long time. If you've been following me for a while, I got that sign off Etsy and I absolutely love it. I thought it was very fitting, and there used to be another shelf here but it fell and I never put it back up. But that's just kind of things that I got. The fish up there are a little bit out of place because they're not goldfish, but I thought they were cute and I bought them. And then I keep Prosy and Prime up there because I need it usually in reach when I am cleaning tanks, and plus Prosy right now because these guys are getting treated for flukes. So you go over here. My double tail mustard gas betta fish is in here. And then the shelf that has all my little ornaments on it, I got that from Dandy Orandas a few years ago. I've always wanted them, and he was kind enough to send that to me. The picture up top is a picture I got off Etsy that a lady did watercolor, and she did that for me. And then the glorious desk, which is usually where you see me film my videos. This is usually where I sit. And then all this is nothing but storage. So my dad did that for me last year, and I keep it up there. That whole bin is nothing but battery backup air pumps in case electricity goes out, which happens more often than not, especially in the winter time. So that's something that I keep really close by. Each of these bins has storage in them from fish supplies. So I'm not going to show you in them because they're really messy. But that one is just extra stuff, extra air stones, extra tubing, extra filter media. That one's medication. That one's medication. And then those three in a row there are actually for my goddaughter. I have a lot of their toys stored in there, and then the rest of them is just fish food and extra prime and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in this a lot, and I think that was the best thing I ever did in the fish room, was just to get organized, because there's so much stuff I have. It's ridiculous. You accumulate so much stuff when you have fish, you don't even realize it. Back here is just where I put dirty towels when I'm cleaning tanks or whatever. I have my own separate towels from the house, and they go in there when I'm done with them. And then I have a dehumidifier. That's not hooked up right now, because if it was, you wouldn't be able to hear me talk. But because there's a lot of water in this room, it's really nice to have that because it gets a little musty in here. And then that's just my printer for school stuff down there. And then that closet is just my mom stores a lot of Christmas decorations in it. And then that's where I put my cleaning tools and my nets and stuff. So that's pretty much the fish room. It's really not that interesting, but a lot of people wanted to see it. So now you have seen it. So to give y'all a look at the totes themselves, I got these totes from Walmart. They hold a little over 30 gallons each. And they're Sterilite brand, and I've always liked them for fish. They're fish safe. They have no chemicals that are harming to fish or anything like that. They're big, they're easy to store, easy to clean, easy to sterilize. So that's why I choose those over any other ones. I also have another set of these that I use for quarantine, like if I have new fish come in or if I have a sick fish, something like that. So the way this is set up is I have an air pump there, and I have a 2 outlet one. So this tank, you can see the air stone comes through that lid, so I can shut it all the way. But there's literally nothing else in here except the fish. So these guys are the first batch from Sakara and Dodge. So there are 15 of them in here, and that's all that I run this tank on. It's just a pure air stone, and then when I feed them whatever they don't eat, I take a turkey baster and get rid of. So that's kind of how I do that. and I do water changes on all the fry tanks every other day. And so that's kind of their water change schedule. In this tub, this is the newest fry. They actually they're a week old now, actually. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to see them. They're hard little boogers to find. Let's see. They have some brine shrimp in here. So that's what you're seeing float around. That's what they didn't eat or are kind of munching on. There's a couple there. You can see them there. Most of them are back there. But it's the same setup, just an air stone. When they're this little, I do not get them out. So you can kind of see them. Right. See the little dude right there. I don't get them out because they're so fragile and so little that I could damage them if I try to net them or anything at this age. So when I clean this tank, I actually just use a water changer and then put pantyhose on the end of it to keep them from getting sucked up. And that's how I do this one. And then I turkey baste anything in between water changes that needs to come out. And then as far as those guys, they actually come out of the tank right now. I actually take them out to get pictures and so on. And they're easy to catch because they're bigger, so I don't have an issue with that. But I was actually just telling somebody, I don't even know how many are in here. Like I did a water change about an hour ago, and I think there's between 50 and 75-ish. But I'm not really sure because I haven't got them out to count. So I probably won't get an accurate count until they're between 2 and 3 weeks old, when they start really packing on the weight. So there's a lot in here. You just can't see them right now. They're probably mad because I stirred up the water and stuff, and they all kind of go over there in that back corner and hide from me when I open this, unless I'm feeding them. So that's probably what they're doing right now. That's pretty much it. It's not that interesting, or I don't think it is, but a lot of people were asking about it. So just to give a little bit more information about the fry themselves, like I said before, the first batch of Sakara and Dodge's fry will go back there once those guys sell. And then I will be able to get rid of one of the totes in here, and it will go into the garage until I need it again. But that's kind of how I've been doing it. The oldest go into the big tank until they get sold, and then it keeps going. Some people were also asking about what I feed the fry as they age. So they get baby brine shrimp up until a week old, and usually I start weaning them from that between 7 and 10 days. By that time, they get switched to steamed egg and garlic and Rapashi Super Gold. So they get that up until 6 weeks, and then at 6 weeks I start adding in a pellet. So I've been feeding Jappy's growth recipe, and so about 6 weeks that starts, but I do continue feeding them steamed egg and Rapashi up until about 2 months of age. I'll slack off on the steamed egg a little bit and a little bit more of the Rapashi, but that's kind of my preference. Some people think that they need baby brine shrimp for months, and I'm just not one of those people. I think that they do very well with steamed egg and garlic and Rapashi. I think, to me, I think they do better, and it doesn't pollute your water so easily to me. I also mentioned water changes. I can do a video on that if you guys would like to see that, because I know some people say that they're so afraid to do water changes with a water changer on fry tanks because they're so small and you can easily suck them up, and that's true. So I briefly mentioned it in the video, but when they're as big as the first batch or even these guys, I don't care. So usually with those, I just put the water changer in, let it do its thing like I do all the other fish, because they're big enough that they really won't get sucked up in it. And I usually put it down on something so it still can get suction for water, but they can't get in it. That's usually how I do it. With the Cara and Dodge's first batch of fry in the tub, I usually take them out and put them in a bowl until I clean the tub out, because I usually want to get all that debris and everything out, and I don't really want them to be in there when I'm doing that, because I stir up a lot of stuff. And while they're in the bowl, I usually take them out and get growth pictures and stuff like that, so it's easier for me too. And the youngest fry, I do the water changer, but I put pantyhose over the end of it, so water will still go through. It'll still trap debris, but the babies can't get sucked up. And I found that to be really helpful. The suction isn't that great when you do that as far as sucking up debris, but it does work. And if you don't let your tubs get too messy, it really does work well. So I think I've covered everything that I was asked to cover. If you have any more questions, or if you want to request I do a video on something, then leave it down below or message me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you feel like doing. I will do my best to do that for you. Don't forget that those guys go up for sale Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. First come, first serve. I think that's all I have for you today, and I'll see y'all next time.